Right now at 6, a Joplin Elementary School draws concerns following a health inspection.
And we've got a warm and breezy day ahead of us and pretty mild as we start our Tuesday. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, a federal court awards a historic judgment to the Show Me state against a foreign government.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warder. It's Tuesday, March the 11th, and extension cords are perilous, apparently. Is that?
Yes. If you could see behind this news desk, sometimes you'd wonder how I can not trip all the time, which sometimes I do. Thank goodness no one catches that
honestly,
on camera.
this reminds me of my workspace with all my computers and stuff. I feel like
it's a little there's a ton of booby traps back here, so sometimes things fall.
It's to keep us alert in the morning, though. You know, I mean, if 5 o'clock in the morning, you guys,
who needs coffee?
Right? You've got exactly. You got tripping hazards all over the place. No, it's not that bad here, but there are a lot of cords. I mean, what you don't realize, there's a lot of cords. I mean, there's TVs here, there's lights here, and we got to charge this thing. There's cords all over the place. Everywhere. So you got to watch out for those cords. And maybe today, good day to open up the windows and work on some cable management at your home. I need to. I'm not going to, but I need to. Because it's going to be a beautiful day. Maybe it's just a beautiful day. You go outside and pretend you don't even have those cords. Yes. Maybe that's a better plan for you. So let's start with a look downtown Pittsburgh. And not a lot of cords there, which is good. And there are power lines, but they seem to be slightly more organized than the cords within my own home, and I'm sure in a number of other homes. Otherwise, beautiful start to the day. Skies are clear, and we're much warmer than where we were yesterday. We're about 15 degrees warmer on average out there. Moon on camera, 32nd in range line, looks great as well. The future track looks fantastic, too, because there's nothing on it other than those wind arrows and temperatures, of course. But you get the idea. There's no clouds, there's no rain, nothing to worry about. It's just going to be warm and breezy. Now, I do want to again say we have no red flag warnings out there at this point, but that doesn't mean it's safe to burn. We're still going to be dry. We're still going to be windy, so it's not recommended. We're sitting at 57 in Joplin, 54 in Pittsburgh, and keep in mind most of us were starting in the upper 30s yesterday. We do have some upper 40s as the cooler spots, Sedan, Independence, and Parsons, as well as Neodesha. The majority of us, though, again, into the low to mid 50s and even some upper 50s here and there. Kids getting on the bus, we're about averaging the low 50s. Southwest winds gusting to 25, clear skies. When the bus brings them home this afternoon, very warm. Some of us may be getting close to record warm out there, 79. Southwest winds gusting to 30. So that's what I'm saying. It's going to be very breezy today, so still wouldn't recommend any burning. Our highs about 80 with those sunny skies. And we do have some slight rain chances late tomorrow, and then we've got those thunderstorm chances late Friday. We'll go over all those details with you in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, Cherokee County authorities investigate a weekend stabbing incident. Cherokee County deputies responded to a report of a physical disturbance Sunday. Now, when they arrived to the scene on the 1700 block of Northwest Highway 7, deputies discovered gunshots had been fired, but no one was struck. Authorities learned 2 people had left the scene and one of them was possibly stabbed. Now, when deputies located the injured subject, they found that was the case. Authorities took the 23-year-old subject to Mercy Hospital Columbus and then by med flight to a Joplin hospital. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. The Missouri Attorney General secures a historic judgment against the Chinese Communist Party yesterday. A federal court ruled that Missouri had evidence to prove that China caused and exacerbated the COVID-19 pandemic, harming Missourians. Now, that ruling is supposed to cost the Chinese government over $20 billion, 6 times more than the previous largest judgment in Missouri history. Missouri will now move to collect the judgment and, if necessary, will look to identify and seize Chinese-owned assets, including Missouri farmland. And a reminder to all Missouri residents that the last day to register to vote in the April election is this Wednesday, tomorrow. Now, whether you choose to vote online or in person, you must be 18 years of age or older by the time of the election in order to vote. And you must provide some form of ID like a driver's license, passport, or birth certificate. Now, here's typically what will be on the ballot on April 8th.
We always remind people it's important if you want to have your voice heard in terms of the city council issues, school board issues, fire protection districts. All those are the opportunity to be able to get registered and make sure that when you go to vote, you let your voice be heard.
Now, once registered, you will be assigned a specific polling location that will appear on your voter ID card. Now, if you can't make it on election day, you also have the option to either absentee vote in person or by mail, as well as in person, no excuse, absentee voting. Lawmakers in Arkansas passed a bill to provide firearms training to students. The bill would require public school districts and open enrollment public charter schools to annually provide students with instructions on firearms safety. Now, the bill would empower the Arkansas State Game and Fish Commission to work with the Division of Elementary and Secondary Education to create and approve age-appropriate firearm safety courses. House Bill 1117 does state that if an option of live fire training is approved, parents will have to give consent. And health inspectors say they found some concerns in the kitchen area of Joplin's Cecil Floyd Elementary School. They cite contamination from mice. Now, in response, the school district says in part, quote, "We are working closely with pest control professionals and our custodial team to thoroughly address the problem and increasing preventative measures to ensure this does not happen again." Altogether, 7 places in Joplin failed the health inspection. Now, they include a gas station, convenience store, a motel, and some restaurants. The Joplin Health Department has made it easier for the public to get access to those reports. You'll find a link at KOAMnewsnow.com. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Authorities investigate attacks on Tesla showrooms, stations, and vehicles nationwide. Plus, President Trump addresses business leaders today following a stock market drop. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Tuesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, a new study shows employee burnout is hurting American businesses. Researchers at the CUNY Graduate School of Public Health and Health Policy in Manhattan found burnout can cost employers up to $5 million a year in lost productivity, like missed work days. Now, the study found burnout cost employers about $4,000 for non-managerial employees, around $10,000 for managers, and more than $20,000 for executives. If an organization has about 1,000 employees, the burnout cost could total in the millions. Now, some signs of burnout include a drop in performance, missed deadlines, and more mistakes in an employee's work. Researchers say employers may want to focus more on employee health. That could help decrease cost and improve profits. Well, police across the U.S. are investigating a series of attacks on Tesla showrooms, charging stations, and Tesla vehicles. Elon Musk owns Tesla, and he's become a lightning rod in the Trump administration for his role with the Department of Government Efficiency, known as DOGE. Musk has been involved with the slashing of thousands of federal jobs over the past few weeks, and some people have responded. While many peaceful protests have taken place at some Tesla locations, there are also widespread reports of vandalism. No one has been hurt, and the backlash against Musk is also hurting Tesla's bottom line. Tesla recently reported its first drop in annual sales in its history. The company's U.S. sales dropped 16% between December and January, according to a Cox Automotive estimate. And the Department of Education is investigating at least 60 colleges and universities for possible civil rights violations. Monday, the agency sent out letters to some of the country's most prestigious institutions, including all but 2 Ivy League schools. Now, it warns of possible consequences for schools that fail to comply with policies aimed to protect Jewish students from anti-Semitic harassment and discrimination. Protections for Jewish and other students fall under Title VI of the Civil Rights Act. The announcement comes days after the Trump administration canceled $400 million in federal grants and contracts to Columbia University. The White House cited what it called its school's failure to stop anti-Semitism on campus. And today, President Donald Trump is set to address a gathering of business leaders. Now, it'll be his first public comments since the steep stock market drop yesterday, which was brought on after the president declined to rule out a recession during a television interview over the weekend. The trade war has also escalated. Derek Waller has more from New York.
All eyes on Wall Street this morning after stocks tumbled once again Monday. The White House downplaying those steep losses.
I think that we're pretty close to having the uncertainty behind us, and as you know, when that happens, then the economy really lifts off.
But some U.S. companies are moving forward cautiously. Goldman Sachs and Delta Airlines are the latest to downgrade their economic outlooks, citing weakening consumer demand and trade concerns.
Yeah, I'm worried about the tariffs. The income is fixed.
Meanwhile, China slapped new retaliatory tariffs on U.S. agricultural products like beef, poultry, and wheat. And the Premier of Ontario, Canada, added a 25% surcharge on electricity exports to 3 states, prompting the president to respond on social media, writing, "We don't need your energy."
The House will be in order.
On Capitol Hill, the House could vote as soon as today on a GOP bill to avoid a partial government shutdown Friday, though at least one Republican, Kentucky's Thomas Massie, says he'll vote no. The president on social media called for him to be primary. House Democratic leaders say they also won't support it.
The House Republican so-called spending bill does nothing to protect Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid.
There's new fears those programs are in jeopardy after Trump's right-hand man, Elon Musk, attacked them once again.
Most of the federal spending is entitlements. That's like the big one to eliminate.
This despite President Trump's previous pledge not to cut them. I'm Derek Waller, CBS News.
Now, even if the House passes this spending bill, it would still need to get through the Senate in order to avert a shutdown. Meanwhile, tomorrow, the president's 25% tariff on aluminum and steel imports are also set to kick in. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Skywatch Storm Tracker is clear this morning, and it will remain that way through today. We have another warm and breezy day ahead of us. Skies are clear, looking fantastic as we get our day underway. We do have some rain chances on our Wednesday, and then we're still watching those thunderstorm chances for Friday. We'll go over all those details with you when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Well, a Garfield Palouse player made her way to championships after a heart surgery. Ansley Anderson has the story.
I just thought, maybe they got it wrong. Maybe it's not actually true.
At 15 years old, Brantner couldn't believe the news. She needed open heart surgery after being diagnosed with heart issues that could cause cardiac arrest.
I never went through life thinking that was going to be something I would have to deal with. And then when I found out, I was I really didn't think that it was real.
Brantner says she started noticing symptoms as she prepared for another tournament in June of 2023.
And I was just getting really lightheaded and dizzy, and something didn't feel right, so I got sent up to the cardiologist.
Brantner's parents say the doctors were able to get her in for surgery within a week of the diagnosis. They say knowing her love for sports, the hardest part of the whole process would be keeping their daughter down long enough to heal.
Getting her to slow down, if you've watched her play this last week, is very difficult. It's scary when she gets a push or falls, then it's nerve-wracking.
After 7 weeks of complete bed rest, Brantner was eager to get back to basketball. She also says throughout this emotional time in her life, she couldn't have made it through without her parents.
They really were the rock in it, and they got me back into sports.
Her parents say even in recovery, she was adamant about her basketball team making it to state.
She kept saying last year, we're going to make it to the state tournament, and they did.
And not only did they make it to state, the Garpal girls basketball team played in the championship game. Brantner says coming back to the sports she loved felt scary.
I couldn't play scared because if I played scared, I knew something was going to happen more than if I just go out with my heart.
Certainly great to see her make it out there. Let's head over to Chris now for a quick look at your forecast.
Again, we've got a warm, breezy day today. So far, no red flag warnings, but I want to emphasize the fact we will be very breezy. We don't want to take any chances, so outdoor burning not recommended. We could even get close to record highs today as well. Details on all of that, plus some rain chances when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 6:22 now on this Tuesday morning. Future track for today looking fantastic. Clear skies, gusty southwest winds. So we do have to be careful about that. Otherwise, just another beautiful, almost early May-like day. Now, as we go overnight, we'll see a few clouds here and there. We'll start our day tomorrow mostly clear. Still breezy tonight, still breezy tomorrow. But as we head into the afternoon Wednesday, clouds begin to increase across the area. We see the swirl out here. Just outside of Chautauqua County, we have a low pressure system. It's going to pass just to our south. It's going to get close enough, though, that by late tomorrow evening, we could have a stray shower or thunderstorm, mainly along and south of I-44. The chances are relatively low, but they are showing up out there. And the good news is no severe weather is expected out of any of that at this particular point. We are looking simply at what they call general thunderstorms. That's what this light green color is. So you start to get into the stronger storms when you get to like the dark green, the yellow, and all that. This is just a light green along and south of I-44 for tomorrow. Because we could get an isolated storm or two. There is a severe threat with this, but it's well off to our south. Temperatures this morning are looking fantastic, especially compared to yesterday. Still have some upper 40s out there, mainly into southeastern Kansas, but the rest of us low to mid 50s with some upper 50s here and there as well. So a very mild start to the day, back in the low 50s, clear skies, and eventually the mid 60s by 11 o'clock this morning, ahead of our highs right about 80. So we may not break records today, but we are going to get pretty darn close to some records, I think, today with those highs about 80. And again, southwest winds gusting to around 30. South winds tonight gusting to 25. Clear skies for the evening, very mild, and then back into the low to mid 50s with a few clouds here and there overnight tonight. And we get into Friday. There's already been changes. There's going to be a few more. And, of course, as we get closer, see, when you get longer range on that severe weather outlook, there's only two options. There's possible and probable. As we get closer, that's when it gets broken down to all those other colors you saw, the marginal, the elevated, the enhanced, and all that other stuff. So as we get closer, we'll be able to break down everything on Friday. I think we are looking at showers and thunderstorms late Friday across the area. So here we are at 4. We go later into the evening out there, and we'll see a few more storms. At this point, the greatest severe risk is still expected off to our east with these storms by late Friday night. So it's still something, though, that we do want to monitor because the low risk, even though the good news is it got slid further east, it still does get into our area. And once this starts breaking down with your low and elevated and enhanced and everything like that, we could see a breakdown for some stronger storms across the area. But at this point, the greatest severe risks are still off to our east as we head into Friday. But of course, we'll continue to keep a close eye on that. We'll have a new update tomorrow because it's still long range. These updates that we're going to get for thunderstorm chances will only come out once a day. So we had that one from this morning. It won't change until tomorrow morning around the same time. And so we'll just continue to monitor that. Here and there, though, again, warm, windy today. South winds tomorrow gusting to 20, so a little better, and maybe a degree cooler here or there. Still warm into Thursday. And again, possible shower storms south of I-44. We'll watch the thunderstorm chances late Friday evening across the area. We'll be a little cooler. Temperatures chilly but seasonable. Keep in mind, we should be in the mid to upper 50s for our highs. So this weekend, we're going to be dry. We're going to be average. And then as we start next week, temperatures back above normal, going back into the low 70s. Let's check your forecast. We're sending it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, we're learning more about how school disruptions during the pandemic affected children. A study published in JAMA showed there was a drop in language, cognitive development, and general knowledge among kids during the pandemic, and it's believed lack of play and in-person interaction also played a role. Now, the study's authors point out, however, that language and cognitive development scores were dropping even before the pandemic. And there may be a biological reason why the opioid crisis affects men disproportionately more than women. A study on rats by Washington University School of Medicine found estrogen in women helps balance the amount of dopamine released when someone takes fentanyl. Now, this means men release more dopamine when using opioids, which can make the drugs more addictive. And OBGYNs are leaving states that restrict abortion rights. Researchers published in JAMA found a 4% drop in obstetricians and gynecologists in the states with the most restrictive abortion laws. Now, this potentially means worse reproductive care access and quality for women living in those states. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, Pittsburgh schools decide whether to lengthen the school day to make up for missed snow days.
And we've got a warm and windy day for us, and it is already mild out there this morning. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, a high school senior in Neodesha receives a surprise and some high honors for their civic work.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It's Tuesday. It's March the 11th, but it feels a little more like May 11th.
Yes.
As we're heading into this afternoon today. Got a pretty decent day lined up. Hopefully everybody's Monday was all right.
Yeah, beautiful out there. Hard not to have a good Monday when it's like that outside.
No, certainly not. An absolutely great Monday. And if you liked yesterday, again, today is going to be even better. Let's start with a look outside downtown Pittsburgh. And we've got clear skies overhead. I assure you, even though it's still dark outside, it is clear. And it is mild compared to yesterday. We were starting the day in the 30s. Not the case today. MoDOT camera 32nd in Rangeline Joplin. A few folks beginning to line up, get their day underway. And a beautiful day it is going to be. And the future track can show that to us because other than some wind arrows and temperatures, there's not much else to see on this particular map as we head into the afternoon hours. It's also going to be quite warm out there today as well. Now, I do want to emphasize again, while we don't have any red flag warnings today, it's still going to be very windy. It's still going to be very dry. Outdoor burning is absolutely not recommended today. 57 in Joplin right now, 53 in Pittsburgh. And around the area, we do have some 40s, some upper 40s. So Neodesha, Sedan, Independence, and Parsons. The rest of us hanging out into the low to mid 50s. And as I showed you, even some upper 50s out there. So we are 15 to almost 20 degrees warmer this morning than we were at this time yesterday. Kids getting on the bus this morning. Clear skies, breezy. Southwest winds gusting to 25, low 50s out there. We hang on to the clear skies and the winds. They'll be gusting to 30. It'll be about 79 when the bus drops these kids off. So we're talking the possibility we may not necessarily break records in the area, but we're going to get pretty darn close to some record highs out there as we go right about 80. And again, southwest winds gusting to 30. It's why we're saying don't do any outdoor burning today. It'll be a beautiful day though. Otherwise, just enjoy the outdoors. Now, we could see an isolated shower or storm late tomorrow. And of course, we're watching those thunderstorm chances on Friday. And we'll go over those details with you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, more low-income housing could be on the way to Pittsburgh. Now, this is through a partnership of the nonprofit Building Health, Inc., which is a subsidiary of the Community Health Center of Southeast Kansas, and Vicino Group, a company that provides affordable housing. The low-income apartment complex would be located adjacent to Community Health Center of Southeast Kansas, which is donating the land. The apartment would be 42 units with 12 units reserved for people with persistent mental illness and or a co-occurring disorder and are exiting homelessness. Now, the city of Pittsburgh has committed a low interest loan of $170,000 toward the project.
Opportunity for anybody earning wages at about $16.70 an hour. So in a lot of our industries, that's entry-level positions, very beneficial too for people who are in retirement or on Social Security income.
Now, their next step to make this a reality is applying for income tax credits from the Kansas Housing Resources Corporation. Now, they'll find out if they've been approved in August. Now, if approved, Vicino Group anticipates construction to start in the first quarter of 2026. And the Pittsburgh USD 250 School Board made an early decision last night not to extend the school day to make up for missed days. Now, so far, the district has used 6 snow days, which only leaves a half day remaining for potential days off. Last night, the board faced 3 choices. The first, to add 5 minutes to the end of each school day through the end of the year, or to convert the final half day of school on May 23rd to a full day. The third choice, don't make any changes right now.
Currently, right now, the Board of Education tonight chose not to change our current class calendar or schedule because we still have about 1/2 of a day of school that was built into the calendar in case we have, for example, inclement weather.
Now, so if the district doesn't lose any more snow days, the last day of school will be as it currently stands, a half day on May 23rd. And a student from Neodesha High School is making history as the first person in Kansas to receive the prestigious John Lewis Youth Leadership Award given by the National Association of Secretaries of State. Now, this honor recognizes young people who inspire their communities through civic engagement. Senior Tucker Leck was caught by surprise when Kansas Secretary of State Scott Schwab paid him an unexpected visit during his Spanish class to deliver the news.
Very start, my parents have always taught me the importance of giving back to your community, giving back to your state, and giving back to your country. And I think when those family values really cultivated a sense of purpose within me, that's when I wanted to make a difference.
The goal since 5 to 6 years old of, for whatever reason, being the governor of Kansas. That is his goal.
Leck goes on to say he plans on attending Notre Dame where he will, of course, study political science. In Pittsburgh, high school theater brings the legendary story of the unsinkable Molly Brown to life on stage. The journey of Molly Brown follows her life as she takes on high society, fights for what she believes in, and survives the Titanic with unshakable spirit.
I play Emma Stetson. I have a featured ensemble role. She was a real historical figure. She was a religious activist. And I think being in the ensemble, I get to be in a lot of different dance numbers with a lot of different people, but Emma Stetson's really important because of her real life activism.
The PHS Theater Department will perform this tale from history live on the Pittsburgh Memorial Auditorium stage. Performances are this Thursday and Friday at 7 p.m. and then on Saturday at 2 in the afternoon. And 8 Joplin High School alumni were inducted yesterday into the Jet HD Walk of Fame. Jet HD, also known as Joplin Eagles Television, is celebrating its 25-year anniversary. The program teaches students about audio and video broadcasting. Inducted alumni are those who have taken what they've learned from the program into the real world, including TV reporters, photographers, and musicians. The group inducted yesterday included KOAM's very own Chris Warner, class of 2005, and Samantha Walker, class of 2020.
The youngest person on this wall, which is quite an honor. So it's very touching to be able to see all of these other people who are so accomplished and have done so many incredible things, some of whom I walked these halls with, some of whom walked it, 20 years before me. So it's quite incredible seeing these are people who've done incredible things.
Don't know what I particularly could have done. Out of all of my family that's gone to Joplin High School, I have no idea how I'm the one that's hanging up on a wall here, but it's a tremendous honor to know that down the road my kids will come in and get to see my smiling face in the hallways if they go down this same route.
Coming back to this program today is crazy. It kind of feels like I was just here yesterday, but I graduated in 2018, which is also kind of a lifetime ago. But it's bittersweet. It's cool to see that kids are still finding an interest in this because it's
The instructors of the JET HD program say they hope to soon have a full wall of alumni as they continue to teach students. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Elon Musk blames a massive cyber attack linked to a Ukrainian IP address for X outage. And we have a warm and windy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Sky Watch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, well, Monday's big sell-off on Wall Street came as Goldman Sachs said it was downgrading its economic growth forecast from 2.4 to 1.7% for this year. This comes from citing President Donald Trump's trade policies. Multiple U.S. companies, including Delta Airlines yesterday, have also tempered their earnings projections, blaming softening consumer demand and trade uncertainty. Well, for now, the president has paused tariffs against Canada and Mexico. But yesterday, the premier of Ontario made good on his threat to tack an extra 25% surcharge on the electricity that his province sends to Minnesota, Michigan, and New York. The new fee will add more than 200,000 American dollars in daily costs for more than 1 million U.S. homes and businesses. Meanwhile, China has slapped retaliatory tariffs on some U.S. agricultural products like beef and soybeans. And ex-CEO Elon Musk says a massive cyber attack is to blame for yesterday's outage. The social media platform formerly known as Twitter was down for thousands of users. In a TV interview, Musk claimed the attack came from an IP address in Ukraine. Those cyber experts point out that this does not mean that the hack originated from that country. And that's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're going to start with a look outside from downtown Pittsburgh. Skies are clear. We're looking pretty good. We are much warmer this morning than where we were yesterday at this time as well. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line. A few more cars lining up on the roadways. A few more folks getting their day underway on what is going to be an absolutely gorgeous Tuesday for us. It will still be breezy, and we still have an elevated fire risk across the area. So while we don't have red flag warnings, just because it's going to be breezy and dry still, outdoor burning not recommended here in the area. But if you're not outside, burning, which you shouldn't be, you can go outside and enjoy this absolutely beautiful weather. Temperatures, again, warmer than where we were yesterday. 57 in Joplin, 53 in Pittsburgh. We still have some upper 40s out there. Sedan, Neodesha, Parsons, Independence, Yates Center, and Iola. The rest of us, though, still hanging out low to mid 50s and even some upper 50s as we get this morning underway. And keep in mind, we were in the upper 30s for most of us yesterday, so we're anywhere from 15 to 20 degrees warmer now than where we were 24 hours ago. Kids getting on the bus this morning, low 50s, southwest winds gusting to 25 and clear skies. Still clear when that bus brings them home. 79 this afternoon. Southwest winds gusting upwards of 30. We're going to have a few clouds overnight tonight. We got some shower chances tomorrow. We got those storm chances on Friday. We'll go over all that with you here in just a moment. We're also going to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries, but first, here's what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Tony DeCopel. Coming up on CBS Mornings, our series The Dish will introduce you to a celebrity chef turned restaurant owner and cookbook author who's on a mission to share West African food with the world. Plus, the one, the only Oprah will be here to reveal the latest selection to her book club. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
All right, time for some Tuesday birthdays in the 4 states. We're going to start in Frontenac with Nolan Bugney celebrating birthday number 8.
And in Pittsburgh, a happy 14th birthday to Hannah Rattery. It says, happy birthday from Mima.
Also celebrating birthday number 14 is Emmylou Whitley in Thayer, Kansas. Happy birthday.
And making our way down to Bentonville, a happy 31st birthday to Glenn Pickering. It says, love Grandpa and Grandma.
And Courtney Borland celebrating birthday number 35 today. Happy birthday.
And a happy 37th birthday to Katie Jo Natalini in Columbus.
And in Pittsburgh, Shane Wade celebrating birthday number 48. Happy birthday, Shane.
And happy 51st birthday to Gilbert Haynes in Chanute.
And we've got Gideon and Melinda Buchanan celebrating their 19th year of wedded bliss. A very happy anniversary to the Buchanans.
And a happy birthday to Ann Teeley in Columbus.
And last but certainly not least, we've got Patricia Lindholm celebrating another year wiser today as well. Of course, that's a great list of birthdays and anniversaries. And if you would like to celebrate with us, Elise has some information for you.
Yes, please submit those birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMNewsNow.com. Be sure to include those wonderful photos and messages to meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen, and to also include the date of your celebration when submitting as well.
Of course, very important information there. And I've got some very important information for you. Now, again, there are no red flag warnings today, but we still have an elevated fire danger across the region. So outdoor burning still not recommended. It's going to be warm. It's going to be breezy. It's going to be dry. Today, though, on the future track, at least through the afternoon, we're looking great. We're going to be warm. Could even get close to record highs for some of us. I don't know if we're necessarily going to break any records today, but we're going to be pretty darn close in some communities. Now, overnight tonight, we'll have a few clouds here and there, so mostly clear skies. That's how the first portion of our Wednesday goes until we get to the afternoon and clouds begin to increase. It'll still be breezy tomorrow, but not as breezy as today and yesterday. The south wind's gusting about 20 miles an hour. Later in the evening, more clouds out there. We have a low pressure system that's going to get pretty close to us. You see, late Wednesday, and I mean late Wednesday, after 8, 9 o'clock, could see an isolated shower storm along and south of I-44. No severe weather is expected, and anything we see is going to be very isolated, very confined, but we could get a shower storm late tomorrow into very early Thursday morning. Now, the good news is, again, no severe weather is expected. Instead, what we've got in that same zone along and south of I-44 is this light green color, and it's not down here because this is just for general thunderstorms. It doesn't have a severe threat associated with it. Now, there is a severe threat with this activity, but it's well off to our south as we head into tomorrow. Temperatures this morning, anywhere from 15 to 20 degrees warmer than where we were yesterday. We have some 40s, upper 40s into southeastern Kansas, but most of us still, again, into the low to mid 50s. We're even seeing upper 50s out there now. And keep in mind, we were in the upper 30s yesterday at this time. Clear skies all day long, low 50s to start, mid 60s by 11 o'clock this morning. Again, ahead of highs on average about 80. So we'll see some of us a little warmer, some of us a little cooler, but around 80 degrees, which is just insane. This is more like early May versus early March. While southwest winds gusting to around 30 miles an hour. Into the evening we go. The clear skies will continue down to the mid 60s by 10, low to mid 50s overnight tonight. South winds gusting to 25. Now again, I've still seen some of it circulating on social media. You got to be cautious about what you read and where you get it from, because there's a lot of these so-called weather people on Facebook. Now, again, there are legit meteorologists out there, of course, including your weather team here at KOAM, but a lot of those folks on social media are not 100% legit, and they're highlighting our region and close by and all this for doom, despair, and destruction. Now, I will say a significant severe threat does look to be taking shape to the east of us. That could be a more serious situation. As for us, we are looking at showers and storms as we head into late Friday afternoon and evening. The question is will they be strong or severe here, or will they wait and really ramp up as they push off to the east? So here we are at 4. We start getting some isolated showers and storms. By between 4 and 8, we get more of these showers and thunderstorms out there. And so we will get the showers and storms. But if you watch, these colors really get bright out here as we move further to the east. This is where the greater severe risk is. Now, some changes since yesterday. When you get really far out, there's only 2 colors for severe weather threats this far out. There's the low, and then there's the medium. There's the possible and probable. By the time we get to tomorrow, that's when it starts breaking down to where we see, general thunderstorms, that light green. And you get the low risk, the marginal risk, and the elevated risk, and the enhanced risk. It starts breaking down more specific colors. So we could see the possibility of maybe some highlights for some low-end, stronger storms in our area. But at this point, we still have this possible severe threat, but it's been moved further east. It was further west yesterday, and the greater threat, again, remaining off to our east. So it's a lot we're going to keep an eye on. Still going to be changes, and this won't update again until tomorrow morning, so we'll have a lot more information by the time we see you here tomorrow morning. We'll have another look at your forecast here in just a moment, as well as news you need to know. When we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., we're going to see how a sign spinner in Texas is elevating advertising to an art form.
And here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Cherokee County authorities investigate a weekend stabbing incident on Sunday. And when they arrived at the scene on the 1700 block of Northwest Highway 7, deputies discovered gunshots had been fired, but no one was struck. Authorities later found a 23-year-old and took them to Mercy Hospital, Columbus, and then by med flight to a Joplin hospital. And the Missouri Attorney General secures a historic judgment against the Chinese Communist Party. A federal court ruled that Missouri had evidence to prove that China caused and exacerbated the COVID-19 pandemic, harming Missourians. Missouri will now move to collect the $24 million and, if necessary, will look to identify and seize Chinese-owned assets, including Missouri farmland. And a reminder to all Missouri residents that the last day to register to vote in the April election is tomorrow. Now, whether you choose to vote online or in person, you must be 18 years of age or older by the time of the election to vote, and you must provide some form of ID. Now, once registered, you will be assigned a specific polling location that will appear on your voter ID card. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as you head out the door, a mild start today, warm later this afternoon, about 80. Southwest winds gusting to 30. So again, no outdoor burning as we still have an elevated fire risk across the area. Clear skies through the evening. A few clouds overnight, back in the low to mid 50s. South winds occasionally gusting upwards of 25 miles an hour. And let's get down to that 7-day. Tomorrow, warm, cloudy, breezy. Clouds increasing by the afternoon. A stray shower or storm south of I-44 late tomorrow evening. And then watching those thunderstorm chances Friday. Temperatures cool, but seasonably cool as we head into the weekend.
Well, coming up today at noon, we're making spring vegetable couscous in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
As your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings, a major airline is changing a policy that stood for over half a century. Head on CBS Mornings, why it will cost you more when you want to fly.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, Jasmine Kyle from the SEK Humane Society joins us in the studio with a four-legged friend.
And Charlene Patton joining us in the studio with another incredible recipe for you. However, that is going to wrap things up for us for now. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.